There's something unsettling about stories that feel older than time itself. So I went through my watch lists and picked a few horror films that are inspired by folk tales. And as always, I'll be waiting for your suggestions in the comments. Any film that deals with folklore, rituals, or pagan traditions is almost always compared to The Wicker Man. The 1973 classic won the Saturn Award for Best Horror Film in 1978, was included by Stephen King in his list of the 100 most important horror movies of 1950 to 1980, and featured what Christopher Lee himself called the best role of his career. The story follows Sergeant Neil Howie, who travels to a remote Scottish island to investigate the disappearance of a young girl named Rowan. To his shock, the locals deny that Rowan ever existed, even her own mother. As he digs deeper, he discovers that the islanders practice Celtic paganism, filled with strange and unsettling rituals. When Howie tries to leave, he realizes his arrival was no coincidence. He has become part of an ancient sacrifice. Every detail in The Wicker Man feels deliberate and disturbing, creating a slow, suffocating sense of dread that stays long after the credits. A 2006 remake starring Nicolas Cage tried to revisit the story, but it's better left forgotten. Asian filmmakers know how to create real fear, and Folklore is a great example of that. This anthology series explores local myths and legends from across Asia. Each episode is directed by a different filmmaker from a different country, and every story stands on its own. Among them are tales about a child-stealing demon in Indonesia, the dark secrets of a Japanese family, a vengeful spirit haunting a Singapore town, and a mother who goes to terrifying lengths to control her son. 6 stories, 6 cultures, and plenty of reasons to keep the lights on while watching. Based on a Japanese folk tale, Onibaba sits somewhere between historical drama and horror. It follows 2 women who survive the 14th century war by ambushing lost soldiers, killing them, and selling their belongings. One day, they find a mysterious mask, and soon realize it carries a terrible curse. The film is haunting, slow, and visually striking. It's not about scares, but about the heavy atmosphere and growing sense of dread. And here's a curious detail. The mask design later inspired William Friedkin's nightmare sequence in The Exorcist. Vai, meaning evil spirit, is based on a 19th century novella by Nikolai Gogol, itself inspired by Slavic folklore. It mixes horror with dark comedy, making it both eerie and oddly amusing. The story follows a seminary student who gets lost in the countryside and is attacked by a witch. He kills her, only to see her transform into a young woman. Soon after, he is asked by the girl's father to spend 3 nights praying over her body in a church. Each night, the witch rises from her coffin and torments him until dawn. There's a flying coffin, grotesque demons, and plenty of inventive visuals that still look impressive today. The White Reindeer is a unique blend of Finnish folk history and vampire stories. Set in the snowy mountains of Lapland, it follows Pirita, a woman who seeks help from a shaman to fix her troubled marriage. The ritual goes wrong, and she becomes a white reindeer that lures men into the wilderness and kills them. Shot in black and white, the film captures both the stark beauty and isolation of the Finnish landscape, adding to its haunting atmosphere. Despite being praised by critics upon release, winning awards at Cannes and the Golden Globes, The White Reindeer is now largely forgotten and underappreciated. Robert Eggers' The Witch will appeal to viewers who are drawn to slow, thoughtful, and deeply atmospheric horror. For those expecting monsters, jump scares, or blood, the film may feel slow or uneventful. But that's where its real strength lies. Eggers focuses not on what happens, but on who makes it happen and why. A Puritan family, banished from their community, settles on the edge of a dark forest and tries to survive. But everything begins to fall apart. Crops die, animals weaken, and the children start acting strangely. Still, The Witch is not just about demonic forces. It's about human nature, pride, deception, and the inability to understand or forgive the people closest to us. Ari Aster's Midsommar can easily be used as a guide to Swedish folklore. The film is filled with runic symbols, fertility rituals, oracles born from incest, and sacrifices made to ensure good harvests. It's often seen as the modern successor to the Wicker Man. It's built on detail, elaborate ceremonies, hallucinogenic rituals, and a disturbing sense of collective madness. Aster doesn't hold back. When there's violence, it's extreme. When there's grief, it's overwhelming. And when there's unity, it's terrifying. And all of it unfolds under the blinding sun. Dachra is Tunisia's first horror film, and it's based on real events. The director once said that many people in modern Tunisia still believe in witchcraft, and that some crimes are even committed for occult reasons. According to local superstition, witches can identify special children known as Zuhra, whose blood is said to please demons. The film combines these beliefs with stories of cannibalism, rituals, and dark folk tales from childhood. The result is a disturbing, unconventional horror movie. There are no flashy visuals or elaborate tricks here, just a slow, growing sense of dread that thickens with every scene. Dachra proves that true horror doesn't need big budgets, only conviction and atmosphere. Set in 17th century Lithuania, the Golem follows Hannah, a woman who turns to ancient Jewish rituals and writings after the death of her son. She learns how to create a golem, a creature made from clay and brought to life through sacred magic. When her village comes under attack, Hannah uses her knowledge to summon the golem, believing it will protect her people. But the ritual doesn't mention what happens when the creation turns against its master. The film is full of Jewish rituals, Kabbalah, occult mysticism, and ancient manuscripts. It avoids most familiar horror cliches, which makes it more engaging to watch.